Welcome back, everybody, to this episode of Coach Caris. Itchy, bitchy, and guess. Sorry, that was just me moving the chair. I'm going to take you to Lanzarote with me. So if you follow me on the socials, you'll have seen last week I was in Lanzarote for a week. So mine and Cal's first ever winter sun holiday. Yeah, it was amazing. Just everything about it was fantastic. We were in a Barcello Active Hotel with a full gym, an outdoor CrossFit training area, different classes. Like, you could literally go to a class from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. We didn't, because Cal took his running gear and his training gear, and I took my training gear. So a couple of mornings Cal went for a run, I went to the CrossFit gym, and another couple of mornings and evenings as well, early evenings, we both went into the CrossFit gym and did some stuff. So it was very fab. But I want to tell you about obviously the sun was amazing, the cocktails. Cal had some cocktails. I'm not really a cocktail drinker. I did have some cava though. I've rediscovered my love for cava. So when I was growing up, you only ever got cava before this posh prosecco came out. And now, like, if you go into a bar and stuff, it's always prosecco, whereas I actually quite like cava. I find it a bit drier. It's quite nice. Anyway, and the poolside naps, obviously. Why would you not nap on a sun lounger in the warmth? It was amazing. Anyway, I want to speak to you today about some of the things that I practiced when I was on holiday. So even though I coach women every single day on confidence, self-confidence, self-trust, and just making no apologies for who they are. Like, we are who we are, right? And we don't need to apologise for that. This is what I actually coach women on. Confidence, self-belief. However, I still have fears. It's just that most of the time I have learned to quieten those fears down. But I've still got the same fears as you do. I still have the same habits, the same, oh my fucking God, can I actually do this? Yeah, I still have all of those as much as everyone else. I am not perfect. I don't coach perfection. It's just about finding that balance between quieting that negative voice down. So on holiday, before I went on holiday, I promised myself that I was going to practice some things and to kind of lean into the stuff that I don't usually do and that makes me feel uncomfortable, and the things that I usually resist. So I practiced being patient. I'll go into that a bit more in depth in a minute. Doing nothing and not feeling guilty. Very rarely will I do nothing. Even if I am in my bed or sitting on the sofa, I will probably be reading or listening to a podcast. It's very rare that I do nothing. So I did practice that without guilt. I practiced letting Cal take the reins with the workout. So he decided, right, now bearing in mind this comes from the fact that I am a CrossFit coach, all right? So the workouts that we do in the CrossFit gym are obviously picked by CrossFit, by my boss type thing. But if ever me and Cal are training, he usually asks me to put a workout together based on what our goals are, or a 6-week plan based on what his goals are or whatever, right? So very rarely, very, very rarely does Cal pick the workout. So did that. And also a couple of days Cal obviously decided what we were doing, and that's totally cool. But that does take practice. And finally, probably the hardest one actually, was wearing a bikini. And not just wearing it, but walking around in it. So not just wearing it, sticking an over thing on, walking at the lounger, and only taking the over thing off when I was on the lounger. I actually wanted to practice walking about in the bikini. So anyway, and also finally keeping my mouth shut about my body temperature, because I'm always freezing in Scotland. I'm sitting here at the moment, right? It is Wednesday morning at 6:59. The heating is on in the house. I've been up for an hour. That's a lie. I've been up for an hour and a half and my fingers are actually freezing. So just not even mentioning my body temperature, which was actually quite novel because I was warm. Anyway, so today I'm sharing the honest bits, all right? The battles, the little victories, and the reminders that even when you've got your shit together, because I know you all think that I've got my shit together all the time. I do not, all right? But even when you've got your shit together, life is still a practice. We are still practicing things. Life. That's okay. That's totally cool. Absolutely cool. All right. So I have got some notes because I had so much to chat about. Anyway, hope you didn't miss me too much. Right. So practicing patience, the first thing. And I mean patience as in, like, I'm not a crabbit cow that I bite everybody's head off. That's not what I mean. I mean patience as in not always making the decision first about what we're going to do. Just sitting about or lying about with no real plan. And again, that's okay, but I do find that quite difficult. So it's just about remembering that not everything that you do needs to be productive. Like, there doesn't have to be an end goal, there doesn't have to be an outcome, there doesn't have to be an achievement. Like, because lying on your arse or sitting on your arse and doing nothing and just letting your brain wander is actually okay. But when I go on holiday, somewhere warm, right, it's a different type of holiday, but when you go on holiday, it helps expose your default pace. So my default pace is busy and productive, I would say. Yeah, I coach a lot of women between my Ladies at Lift, the Midlife Reset, and my On Fire group coaching. I've got 50 odd clients. All right, so there's always something, usually work-wise, there's always something that needs done, whether it's actual in-person coaching, whether it's catching up with my online clients, whether it's recording podcasts, whether it's sorting out all my social media, doing Instagram lives. Do you know, there's always something that needs doing. So it does, when you go on holiday, it does expose your default space and my default pace, and my default pace is busy and productive. So it was very nice. I was going to say it was very nice to find that out. I know that, and I am really bad at slowing down and letting other people take in the reins. So that's what I practice. And also, what I did think about was, so sometimes when you rush through something, it's because you just want to get it over and done with because you're scared, right? Because there's a fear there. And this is very relevant to me and Cal if we're in the gym together. So we've obviously got different needs. We've got different programs, right? For a start, Cal's a boy and I'm a girl, so he's stronger than I am. He lifts heavier weights than me, and he's got different joint pains, for example, right? He injured both his shoulders. So he needs to warm up his shoulders and his arms more than I do. I need to warm up my hips and my back and my knees more than he does, because my hips and my back and my knees are usually some kind of sore. So it's always like regimented. So you go into the gym, you do the warm up, you do the strength set, just exactly the same as CrossFit. You do the workout, right? Now, I have no time for dicking about in between, right? I just want to get in and I want to get it done. And now I've started thinking about, well, do you know, maybe that is a fear. Maybe I just feel that I want to get it over and done with. So I practiced not doing that. When we went into the gym, I just went at Cal's pace. Now, on the first day, right, that was really difficult. And it's not that Cal's pace is wrong. It's just not my pace. It's not what I usually do, because I'm usually in the gym at CrossFit. I'm the coach. And even if I'm training or not training, everybody does what I say. And I don't mean that in an arsey dick way, but you know what I mean? I get to set the pace. I work the timer, I choose the music, I decide how long we're doing the warm-up for, I decide how long the strength set. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's quite difficult. Like, also, for example, so every Saturday at CrossFit, the workout is a partner WOD, right? And I usually partner Emma. Remember Emma? I've mentioned Emma before. She's the one that I would phone if I ever had to get rid of a dead body, because she would come and help me. So Emma, on a Saturday, we can't choose the WOD because CrossFit chooses the WOD, but Emma always chooses the rep range. So we usually manage to RX the weight. Sometimes I need to go a wee bit lighter with the barbell, but Emma chooses the rep range, and I literally do what I'm told, because that's out my comfort zone. So this is what we were practicing. I don't even think Cal knows I was practicing this, but this is what I was practicing on holiday. So I want you to think about that. If you are constantly rushing something, it is something that I've noticed that I do. It's probably you've got a bit of the fear. And that's okay. It's just about recognising it and just about practicing. So instead of going into the gym in the morning or late afternoon when we were in Lanzarote and going bang, bang, bang and just getting it over and done with as quick as possible, we actually just chilled. I mean, sometimes we were in there for like an hour and a half. If we'd been in CrossFit in this country, it wouldn't have taken us an hour and a half. Do you know? But it was nice and it was warm. And I was in, a lot of the time, I was just in shorts and a bra top because it was so lovely. Again, confidence issues, but you know, I was practicing that. So yeah, it was really good. So I practiced patience when I was on holiday. That was the first thing. It was good. Being okay with doing nothing. So like I said, there's not a lot of times that I do nothing. I've usually got something to do. And even if I am having some downtime, it'll involve like doing yoga, or reading, etc. So I did practice, especially lying on the sun lounger. I just put my book down. And yeah, there was people to watch, but a couple of the times we had our loungers facing the sun, which was away from everybody else. So I just put my book down, put my shades on, and just lay there and just let some thoughts float about my head, psyched myself up to go for a walk in my bikini, but you know, just actually did nothing. When you're so used to having your brain like switched on next time, I need to do this, I need to do this, then I need to do this, then I need to do this, etc. It's just, do you know, sometimes, some days the biggest decision was, what time will we go for breakfast at? It was lovely. It was just really nice. And why do we struggle? Midlife women, we struggle with it because we've generally just got so much going on. Do you know, you've got a house to run, you've got kids to ferry about the place, you've got your work, you've possibly got elderly parents, there's just stuff that needs done like all the time. So we do struggle with downtime, absolutely. My childhood, my mum and dad were very productive as well. Do you know, we were early risers. It used to do my nutting, by the way. I'd be lying in my bed on a Saturday morning, hungover to fuck, and my mum would be in at like 8 o'clock, all the windows open, hoovering, dusting, getting all the housework done for the weekend, and I would be like, for fuck's sake. But that's me. That is me now. Honestly. We used to have so many fights about it. But I am my mother and father's daughter, and I am productive, and I do get stuff done. But sometimes we struggle with downtime when it's actually okay to do nothing. And by doing nothing, I mean literally doing nothing. I don't mean losing 2 hours sitting on the sofa scrolling Instagram, because that's not downtime. That's not cool. That's just a scroll of doom and all the negative shit that comes with it. So just practice doing nothing. Don't know if I'm at the meditation stage yet. Don't know if I ever will be. But I am getting a bit more woo-woo. The older I get, I'm getting a bit more chill and a bit more okay. So, sitting still for 10 minutes or 20 minutes taught me, I suppose, that I can actually do it. I can quieten my brain down. It's hard. I have midlife anxiety like a lot of people. I had a whole conversation with one of my clients yesterday about waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and your brain being like switched on, and it's really frustrating. I'm not even going to tell you what was going through her head, but I was actually ending myself on the phone call. It was so funny. It was ridiculous, but it was so funny. Anyway, she knows who she is, and I'll probably be thinking about it forever now. But I woke up Sunday night, I didn't sleep, probably because I was just back from holidays. I had an alarm set for Monday because I was working, paranoid that I was going to sleep in, etc, etc. But I'd read a book on holiday, and there was a phrase in it that I didn't know what it meant, so I went away and Googled it. I can't even remember what it was. It was something to do with speaking about, it was an American author, and she was speaking about Korean people. She was writing the book as if she was Korean, or the main character in the book was Korean. I can't even remember what the phrase was. I want to say misappropriation or something, I can't remember. Anyway, I googled it and I was like, all right, that's totally quite interesting. And the book was set in like the 1980s, and it wasn't even a thing. This phrase wasn't even a thing back then, but now it's a massive phrase. Anyway, I read it and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I totally understand that now. And then I woke up every hour on Sunday night thinking about this phrase, and it's just like, what the fuck? Anyway, that's just your brain, all right? So practicing quiet in your brain can be difficult, but it was quite nice just to be still. Pretty woman, be still like vegetables. That's what Julia Roberts says. Yeah, it was nice. Also, do you know when you go back to your room in the afternoon when you've had like a day of sun, and then you have a shower, and then just take all your clothes off, get all that sun cream off you, do you know, wash your hair. And I was just getting under the duvet. It was fab. It was just, yeah, just doing nothing. It was lovely. Anyway, practice that. Be still, my friends, be still. Right, letting Cal pick the workouts, right? I've explained a bit about this already, right? I am a CrossFit coach. I get to decide. I decide how long the warm-up lasts. I decide what music goes on. I decide to set the timer. I decide when we start the workout, like the CrossFit class, right? Same with my ladies at Lift. I decide all of that because I am the coach, and that's okay. But it does make you very comfortable, like, and it can make you don't get uncomfortable. Don't get me wrong, the CrossFit WODs sometimes are horrific, right? And I literally want to die. But you don't, I can pick my own rep range, I can pick my own weights. So this Saturday thing on this Emma thing on a Saturday, when she picks the rep ranges right now, she will do something ridiculous. She's stronger than I am. She will make me do like 15 reps in a row without putting the barbell down from my shoulders to my overhead, right? And now I would never choose to do that because it makes me feel uncomfortable and it's really, really difficult. So that's what we do on a Saturday. Basically, Emma decides what we're doing and I just do it. So this is what I was practicing with Cal. And it's about releasing control, and it's about accepting that just because somebody else has the say or picks something or decides what you're doing, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. Do you know, all you're doing is cleaning your brain. You're just letting somebody else take responsibility, right? And that was cool. So there was a couple of days Cal put the workout together, which was fine, which was cool. We totally did it. I didn't die. It was actually quite nice just to do what you're told and not actually have to think about it. It was cool. And it's just about trusting somebody else, trusting somebody else's plan. And being flexible, right? It's not all about, it's okay for somebody else to be in control, but as midlife women, do you not think, what is it they say, if you want something done, ask a busy woman because she'll get it done? That is very true, right? But it's okay. It's okay. It's not about being perfect, a perfectionist, and it's not about being rigid, and it's not about thinking that it's only you that knows best and your way is the only way. It's just about relinquishing responsibility, I suppose. There was one of the mornings as well, so we went and did the CrossFit workout, right, which was horrific. I had loads of barbell stuff in it, loads of shoulder overhead with the barbell, right? I had thrusters in it. I'm sure I had burpees in it as well, right? It was really, really, really shouldery. And then Cal was like, oh, the weather's not that great today. Why don't we go and hire bikes, right? Now, I bike in the summer a couple of times a week to my work, right? I'm literally on my bike for 15 minutes. It's fine. Cal hasn't been on a bike for years, but there was a wee bike hire place. So we went to hire bikes, right? It was absolutely brilliant. We cycled away down the coast through Playa de Honda and down to Puerto del Carmen. We were staying in Costa Teguise, by the way. Right, anyway, by the time we got back, we'd cycled like 40 kilometres. So the journey down, so 20k down the coast, it was fab. The wind was behind us. It was lovely. We stopped and had a coffee and a water in Playa de Honda. I love Playa de Honda, by the way. It's very nice. Very untouristy and quiet, but very nice. So we stopped there. We had a coffee. We had a water. Part of their promenade, there's no bikes allowed. So we got off and walked and we shoved the bike in. It was lovely. Got down to Puerto del Carmen, found this amazing place called Calma for lunch, had the best burrata salad. Cal had chicken date. Anyway, the salads were lovely. There was guacamole on the plate. There was loads of rocket leaves. I had cranberries with mine. It was amazing. Had more gallons of water and stuff, and it was cool. Jumped back on the bike to come up the road, and it was like, Jesus Christ. I couldn't decide whether I had nappy rash, or oh, I don't know, it was just my actual backside that was so sore, like my undercarriage. It was just because we haven't been on a bike. Anyway, but as we were cycling back up the road, we were into the wind. We were right next to the beach, so the sand was coming in our face. We couldn't breathe. We did get slightly lost, to be fair. Anyway, we stopped in the place where the airport is. Can't remember it. Begins with an Arrecife. We stopped in Arrecife on the way back up, had another coffee, and then we cycled back up the road for 40k. Anyway, that whole tangent there, sorry, that was about relinquishing control, and Cal decided we were going to hire bikes, and it was absolutely amazing. It was fucking sore, by the way, but it was amazing. It was such a good day. And again, like I said, it's about trusting somebody else's plan. Of course it is. And why shouldn't we choose each day? Do you know what I mean? Cal decided that he was going to run a couple of days. That was cool. I went to the gym. We had a couple of pool days as well because, again, me and Cal work at two different paces, and neither's right and neither's wrong. But he knows sometimes I need a bit up the arse and I need to be told to sit and do nothing. We had a couple of pool days, which was amazing. And then sometimes Cal would just sit in his arse too much, so he needs a rocket up his arse to do stuff. So, yeah, tag team. Tag team. The bikini. Right. I don't know if I'm a bikini person. I've never been a bikini person, right? I've never had the courage to wear a bikini, ever. I did do it a couple of years ago when we were in Kefalonia. Wasn't particularly happy with my body. I was about 26 pounds heavier than what I am now, but I did it. I wore the bikini. I wore it to the beach. I wore it to the pool, sorry. I put a wrap on, a thing, over beach thing. Again, sorry, can't think of the word. Not a sarong, so that my boobs were out. It was like a full thing. Put that on, walked to my sun lounger, took that off, lay in the sun lounger. Did not get off the sun lounger unless I had my cover up back on. Didn't really think it was for me. Took a couple of pictures actually. I'll need to dig them out. I posted them on social media because that doesn't bother me. Don't know why that doesn't bother me, but that doesn't bother me. It's the walking about that's the problem. Anyway, so I've never ever worn a bikini, right? I've always, even when I was younger, I always felt I was too fat for a bikini. I store fat around my midriff and my boobs, so never ever felt comfortable. Anyway, a couple of years ago I did it just to prove a point. I'm not sure I actually proved that point. I proved that I could take my cover up off on the sun lounger, but I didn't do anything else. Anyway, so this time my goal was to wear the bikini and to actually walk about with the bikini on. Not just like strutting about like a peacock, but like walk to the bar for a juice or whatever. So the first day I put my bikini on, I had a cover up on, obviously, had it on, got to the sun lounger, took it off, lay in the sun lounger. Got to mid-morning and I went away to the bar with my cover up on. So I went to the loo, took my phone, went to the bar, got us a couple of juices. Cal's juice of choice is Sprite. Mine was full fat cola. Got us a couple of juices and walked back, right? Guess what? Nobody fucking died, alright? Nobody even looked at me. It was fine. Anyway, mid-afternoon, Cal was like, I'm going to the bar. I was like, I'll go. So got up with just my bikini on and my flip-flops or my sliders and went to the bar with just my bikini on. And do you know what I found myself doing? I had my hair rolled up, right, in a big clip thing. So I took my clip out because this always used to be the same when I was younger as well. I just felt more confident with my hair down. I don't even know if that's a thing. If that happens to anybody else, let me know, by the way. I don't know why that is. Yeah, I'd never really thought about that until I was speaking about it. Anyway, took my hair down, walked to the bar, just with my bikini on, got us 2 juices, walked back. Again, did anybody die? No. Did anybody comment? No. Did anybody even look at me? No. It was fine. The world did not end because I walked about in my bikini. So that was me for another 2 days. I had my bikini on. So that's what I did. I walked about without my cover up on. And like I said, did anybody die? No. Am I a bikini person? I still don't know. I haven't done it enough. That is literally like 2 holidays in my whole lifetime I've ever worn a bikini. However, in the gym, This is another weird thing, by the way. In the gym, t-shirt was off, bra top on, just to below my boobs, and a pair of shorts, cycling shorts, like training shorts. Do you know, mid-thigh, high-waisted, admittedly, but my bikini was high-waisted. Doesn't bother me. Don't know why. Don't know. Obviously, I'm more confident in the CrossFit gym, half naked, than I am at the pool. Do you know, I'll keep working on it. Anyway, and finally, the last one, and this isn't relevant if you don't know me. If you know me, it's very relevant. I am literally always walking about saying that I'm freezing, right? I've got mittens on, I've got hand warmers on, I'm in the gym with my woolly hat on, everybody else is in shorts and t-shirt, and even in the summer, I am literally about 5 degrees colder than everybody else. I have really bad circulation in my hands and my feet. That is a midlife thing, that is a perimenal thing. Never used to be that. I just used to be permanently cold. So my core is usually warm. Like if I'm in the gym, I could walk about with my shorts on and a jumper on and I would be absolutely fine, but my hands and my big toes would be literally freezing. Anyway, didn't comment once. It was amazing. Didn't even ever say I was too hot. It was so fabulous. But to do all of this, right, and to have the confidence to practice, there are a couple of things that I did do that obviously made me feel better. So a lot of these things that I've spoken about is about lack of confidence, right? But if you look after yourself and if you make mindful choices and fill your body with good food, watch your alcohol intake, watch the fried food buffet intake, right? And just generally move. So do your steps, train at the gym if that's your thing on holiday. I get it's not for everybody, right? But just manage as well what you're eating and have a fine balance of the tasty stuff, right? That gives you the confidence to do all of those things that I've spoken about, because it lets you relinquish control in other situations, right? So we were half board, by the way, so breakfast and dinner, and it was a buffet every night, right? And it was, to be fair, the food was bloody fantastic. There was so much choice. But if I'd went in there and had like fried food for my breakfast, followed by a plate of cakes for my breakfast, if I'd had a pizza or a burger and chips for my lunch, and if I'd had like fried food for my starter, I'm trying to think what they had I didn't eat, hot dogs for my dinner, and then a massive plate of puddings, right? There was absolutely no way I would have been able to walk about that pool in my bikini confidently. There would have been no way that I would have managed to relinquish control and do the workout that Cal picked and go away on the bikes and stuff like that. There was no way that I would have been able to do that, because I would have felt like shit and I would have been fighting to control everything. Whereas I focused on controlling the stuff that was important to me to increase my confidence, and that was the amount of alcohol that I drank, getting my steps in, doing my workouts, and eating like a grown-up, eating like a grown-ass woman, all right? So I didn't track my food. I was off of MyFitnessPal anyway, all right? But I was very mindful. So breakfast was like, we had some Greek yogurt and some fruit to start with, and then quite a lot of the time, to be fair, I had some ham and some cheese and maybe like a slice of nice bread. All right, a couple of coffees and some water. That was generally my breakfasts. For lunch, on the days that we went out for lunch, I had a salad, whether it was a chicken Caesar salad, a burrata salad. One day I had a prawn and fruit salad, right? It was just weird. It had banana in it. And I'm not really sure what I think about that, and I'm not really sure I would ever order it again, but the prawns were absolutely amazing. And then for dinner, we had, there was loads of salads and stuff, so I ate a lot of olives, a lot of salads to start with, and usually meat and more salad for dinner, which was lovely. Some of the meats, I think Cal had the biggest ribs he's ever seen, were amazing. I'm sure I had lasagna at one point, which was very nice, or aubergine parmigiana, which was like amazing. And then most nights I had a pudding, a little bit of cake, or a couple of scoops of ice cream, or one night, in fact 2 nights, they had a chocolate fountain and flumps. Dipped my flumps in the chocolate fountain, and they had a Haribo station, which was like amazing. So I did exert some willpower, but I also had a lot of tasty stuff. As for alcohol, didn't drink alcohol during the day because it just makes me fat, makes me sleep, makes me feel chubby as fuck, makes me dehydrated. So we went out for a couple of drinks, usually before dinner. The first night I had 2 pints actually, steaming. Didn't even remember getting back to the room. Hilarious. With a couple of pints, went for dinner. No, I couldn't even tell you what I had for dinner. Didn't even remember getting back to the room. 2 pints. Can't remember the last time I drank 2 pints, to be fair. Anyway, then I remembered about cava, so I had a couple of glasses of cava before dinner every day. It was very nice. It was lovely. I sound wistful, don't I? Yeah. Anyway, holiday habits. So, looking after yourself when you can and not being an absolute fucking bell end with your food and your alcohol will give you more confidence. It's like normal life, right? The 2 best things you can do for midlife, for your perimenal symptoms, and to help you feel awesome is fill your body with decent food and fucking move. The 2 hardest things to do when you're perimenal and in midlife and you've got fatigue and you're battling shitty sleep and you're crabbit and you're hungry because you're eating shite, right? The 2 hardest things to do are to move and to fill your body with decent food. But that's the 2 things that will increase your confidence. That's the 2 things straight away that as soon as you make that commitment, that's what will increase your confidence. Exactly what my clients feel. The minute they sign up, the minute they make that commitment to themselves. True. All right. So, anyway, takeaways from this super duper holiday in Lanzarote. Do you know, it was so good that I think we're just going to book it again next year for 10 days. It was amazing. Absolutely have not completed Lanzarote yet. Absolutely have not completed the Barcello Active Hotel. It was amazing. But just a reminder, right, that confidence, it's not somewhere that you get, right? You don't just sort your shit out and then get confidence, all right? It's an absolute work in progress. And it's about repetition. It's about consistently doing the healthy habits that give you the confidence, and you're safe in the knowledge that you are actually looking after yourself, right? It's not perfection. Confidence doesn't come when you lose 2 stone. It doesn't come when you jump on the scales and the scales say the weight that your goal weight that you want to get to. Confidence actually starts the minute you decide to look after yourself. That is very true, by the way. It's not a final destination. It will increase slowly and surely the more things you do to look after yourself. Now, I would never have believed this before. I would have told somebody they were talking pish, right? But it's true. Take my word for it. It's absolutely true. Also, another thing is you can be all over it, right, most of the time, which is what I coach my clients on how to do, right? 80% and all that malarkey, all right? Consistency over perfection. But you can be all over it most of the time, right? And you can have your ducks in a row most of the time, which I do, right? But you can still be scared. And that's okay, providing you don't let the fear of that situation that scares you stop you from doing stuff. All right, it's okay to be scared, 100%. I was shitting myself walking about my bikini. Thinking about walking about my bikini was actually worse than doing it, and that is usually often the case. So don't let the fear, whatever your fear is, don't let that stop you doing stuff, because that's not living and that's really shit. And practicing putting yourself into situations that make you feel uncomfortable, right? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? They're only going to give you more confidence because you'll have achieved it once. When you achieved it once, you can do it again and you'll feel a bit more confident, and then do it again and feel a bit more confident. By the 3rd day, I was walking about in my bikini with my hair up, wasn't giving a fuck. Literally was not giving any fucks. Could get myself from the lounger to the bar without even any of those thoughts going through my head, like, oh my God, who's looking at me? Oh my God, what they're saying about me? Is my belly hanging over my bikini bottoms? Oh my God, are my thighs wobbling? Oh my God, right? Like, no. All I was thinking about was what I was going to order at the bar, what juice I was going to drink. So please, please, please do the things that make you feel uncomfortable. Honestly. So anyway, thanks very much for listening. I hope you're all jealous. If you want to come to Lanzarote with me next time, that would be amazing. And I hope you've taken some take-homes out of this episode. And I just want to remind you that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be practice. You just need to practice, sorry. Work in progress is okay. For you to be a work in progress, it is totally cool. We do not need to be perfect. Every woman that I work with, including myself, right, is learning how to trust themselves a bit more, relax a bit more, but show up from themselves and control. Somebody said to me the other day, actually, control the controllables. So control the things that will give you more confidence and let everything else go. Yeah, I just want you to be yourself, not who you think people expect you to be. You just need to be. So maybe this week, right, just practice a small thing. Maybe if you're going on holiday, maybe you could wear that bikini. Or maybe you could just sit still for 10 minutes. Feeling that you've not had to earn it. Just sit still for 10 minutes. Julia Roberts. Be still like vegetables. Or maybe you could just write down where you're holding yourself back. Whatever it is, it counts, all right? Whatever your thing is, whatever is giving you the fear, whatever makes you feel uncomfortable, just have a think about that, all right? Just write it down and just remember, all right, that it's okay to practice midlife. All right. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Coach Cara's Itchy Bitchy and Guess. Remember, I am a midlife woman coach. I coach online for nutrition, confidence and habits, and I also coach my ladies that lift. If you found this episode helpful, that was a big smile, by the way, please share it with anybody that you think would also find it helpful. Anybody, any woman or anybody that you know that just needs a reminder that it's okay to be imperfect and it's okay to be work in progress. Thanks, my lovelies. Ta-ta.